Okay, my name is Kalika Jan. This is my friend Matt, and I'm going to be interviewing him for my Bible project on homosexual marriage. So Matt, should homosexuals allowed to be married?
I believe any two humans in the world should be allowed to be married, be them male or female.
Okay. So I just want to clarify that it has to be humans, and that it can be animals or objects, right?
Bestiality and idolatry are sins.
Okay. So what if, a pedophile wants to marry the kid he pedophiles with, and the kid loves him, and that he's cool? Is that okay?
No.
Why not?
Because there's the idea of codependency when it comes down to a pedophile molesting a child and the child becoming so enthralled in a relationship that it knows no other way. That is a sin.
What if that's an adult relationship? Codependency happens in adult relationships.
It does, but when it comes to a child who has no better choice and knows no other way, and some random ass man is teaching him that, taking a penis in his, whatever is right, and he knows nothing about sex from school or parents or church, it's sinful. Because somebody is taking advantage of an innocent young mind, and that's wrong.
Okay, I agree with you. So we're drawing the line that humans can be married if the age is proper. So a lot of people would say that homosexual marriage doesn't really hurt society or the government or anything. Would you agree with that?
There are a lot of views on homosexual marriage. I believe, personally, I should be able to marry whomever I want. I know that in the life of a homosexual, it's hard because of, what people believe, the presuppositions of the world, the church, what spite people have against homosexuals trying to raise children. It's hard for children and the parents in a homosexual relationship. But if myself and my lover, whose name is Christos and Estes Floros, if we wanted to raise a child together, I would fight to the death for that.
So do you think that homosexuality doesn't cause any harm to society? Do you think it's just okay? No worries?
It truly depends on the parents. If they are mature enough and understand what raising a child means, then no, there is no harm to society. There is nothing wrong with it. But if the homosexuals live the life that homosexuals in general live, partying, debauchery, random, I don't want to say anything. Yeah, promiscuity. It could be wrong, but if lived properly, there's nothing wrong with it. But if they live in the life that a lot of homosexuals live in, it's very wrong.
So you're saying that because the exception to homosexuality is responsibility, and so some of them are responsible and know how to raise a child and such, but the majority of them, the defining characteristic is promiscuity. And you think that is a stable enough environment and a good enough percentage of them to make a law saying that they should be able to be married and have children?
I think there should be, just like immigration laws, there should be a large, hard initiation process for homosexuals to be married and to raise a family.
Mm.
Because as a homosexual myself, I think if I still lived in my past ways, promiscuity, debauchery, so on and so forth, back in the day, if I asked for a child, they should have fucking put me in jail. But now, I I believe that me and my partner or partners should be able to raise a child.
All right, so Matt, I don't want to offend you, but I'm just gonna say like statistics. So, in committed homosexual relationships, there's a 97% rate of infidelity, and even then, those relationships last usually only like 2 to 3 years. So, like, say the adoption process takes 2 years, and then you kind of start getting tired of each other, and you have a kid, and 2 years is a long time. And then what if you break up, and that kid's already not in a super stable environment? What's happening?
You know what, Calico? In all honesty, I want to say that I would be able to rectify it with my partner. But in all honesty, as a heterosexual who turned homosexual, I know that the only stable environment for a child is a mother and father. And unless one of the two parental figures is severely feminine and the other is severely masculine, it's not going to work. I understand that the fidelity rate with homosexual relationships is low, but at least in my opinion, I will vote and I will stand for free marriage for everybody, because I know that what I have with my partner is very strong. Be it right or not, I love what I have and I'll fight for it. And you know what? I'll vote against anything that says otherwise. And that's all I have to say.
Can I finish talking to you, please? About the points I have.
Okay.
Okay. So, STDs as a group are kind of rampant in the homosexual lifestyle, just because
The drugs and the culture.
yeah 1 to 3% of the percentage, or 1 to 3% of the population is homosexual, but then out of all the people that have AIDS, 60% of them are homosexual. So I mean, that honestly, that shows you that something is not right in there. And what that is I'm not saying that this has anything to do with your relationship.
Calico, I don't believe homosexuality is something that is originated at birth. I believe homosexuality is either a choice because somebody believes that a woman can never love them for who they are,
Mm-hmm.
or B, because somebody was sexually molested or hurt as a child in a way that they could not recover, and they thought the only way to find true affection was from somebody who understood them, and they could not find that love from a woman. So they became a homosexual. I don't believe homosexuality originated at birth.
But is it really
That is why STDs, STIs, any venereal, anal, any kind of disease that is transmitted between homosexuals is so rampant, is because the idea of being a homosexual, every homosexual is sex crazed. All of us want nothing more than to get what we want when we want it, and we love to be high while we do it.
so?
We don't have discretion, and we don't care.
So men are naturally more driven by sex than women, right? That's just a common knowledge, right?
Some men are...
As a group.
As a group, I would say 65%.
Okay. So if men are driven more by sex in general, not necessarily always, and women are in general the same way, driven mostly by love, they're looking for love. When you put a guy and a girl in a relationship, it works because the guy wants sex and then the girl wants like affection, but also like a real like deep relationship that would include more like other stuff besides sex, and so it kind of evens it out. So when you take two men and put them together, there's not as much even out the sex craze. So
unless you find
theory,
one man who truly appreciates affection more than just the sexual connotations of being homosexual.
So is that love?
Love is a general term. Nobody understands the ideas of love unless they understand God. And I, as a homosexual, know that most of my kind don't understand love. And you know what? It is what it is. I'm not going to fight it. I just know that if nobody understands love, then I have to find someone who does, or I'll have to explain it.
If you love each other, does that mean that you shouldn't necessarily be married? Like, I love my mom, but
no,
I'm not going to marry her.
There's a complete different kind of love. I love Kara. She's my neighbor. I love her as a friend. I love you, Calico, even though you're a cunt and you're my sister. Don't cut it. Julie, I love you, even though you're Julie and you're Julie. I love Christo, even though he's my best friend. I'd marry him if I had a vagina, but otherwise, no. You know what? It is what it is. I'm done with this fucking interview. You guys have what you want. I'm done. Sorry. I want to go kick it with Kira and Christo.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
Straight, bitch.
I'm really sorry about all of this cussing. I warned him beforehand, but he has trouble controlling himself.
I do. Let me eat a jar of pickles and show you how gay